one of my desks, there is a credenza. On that credenza, there are 50 volumes of 3-ring binders, on average 2 inches thick. In other words, each of them can hold 400-500 pages. And every one of them is full of my handwritten notes about one reality. So I don't take the subject lightly. I believe very strongly that understand before being understood. And I've spent a lot of time understanding others before putting them in some kind of my perception of reality. So, and one of the most recent things I've been doing, in addition to this symphony of sciences and spirituality, is that I've been working on corrections to calendar, clock, compass, and GPS. And if you correct the calendar, then today's date, which is Friday, November 21, is actually October 27, 2021 AD. And I have calculated the birthdays of a lot of special people and events and stuff like that, including, July 4, 1776, Independence Day, JFK assassination, and some, even Noah. I don't know if, some people get offended, but I know Noah's date of birth. And I know his age if he were alive today. And maybe if I come across that slide, I'll point it out to you, because I'm not fully, Okay, let's go and see if the space doesn't work. So I'll try the right.
No, it does work, but you have...
Huh?
The way you made it, it has several steps within one slide. Keep hitting
several steps in one slide. Oh, should I hit again one more time?
Yes. Okay. Oh, there you go.
Okay, this is the organization chart of my company. Basically, it's all me at different ages. But it is very honest. Everything that I mentioned there, I have either done it, or I'm doing it, or plan to do it because I'm licensed to do it. But obviously, time being precious, I can't take care of everything. So let's keep moving because time is short. Here is the more complete title with, sublines. There is but one reality. A symphony of sciences and spirituality. Every one of these 3 taglines is very important because they give you an insight into what's coming and how everything relates to everything else. Another tagline is stars and scriptures singing in unison. In other words, if you look at the astronomy and all that is being displayed, and they have a rhythm of their own and synchronization and clockwork and everything, and you can do the same thing with some of the scriptures. I can't do it. I have not done it for every scripture, but it can be done for every scripture. And then the 3D universal dance of and around berry centers. So these 3 are key phrases. And then there are, of course, half a dozen other fundamental and basic errors that anybody who has made any errors in them and builds any kind of science, any kind of scriptures, is got to be defective. But of course, you can't do that because everybody's so sure that they're right, just as I was, kind of the same way myself. But anyway, let's keep going. So, now, here's this One Reality Research Academy. IRS somehow asked me to separate my vocation and my avocation. So my vocation was intellectual property creation, protection, and caching. And my avocation was this One Reality. And so formally I had to get a new phone number for this activity. And it's a long story, but I know for sure that I am still the only one in the world doing research on One Reality. Because all others believe it cannot be done. And I knew that it cannot be done, that I'm a crackpot, and I knew that I'm a crackpot. But in 50 years, there comes a limit where you have to make a decision. So yes, I'm a crackpot. I'm more readily willing to acknowledge it than anyone else. But even then, I feel compelled to share this information with you and to leave a paper trail for posterity. So anyway, here is what I call the mission of the organization of the One Reality Research Academy. Now, we've been holding meetings on this ever since 2000 or so, and those meetings were held at my office. You know, I mentioned to you my office is so large, as large as this room, and there's a huge conference table, and around the conference table you can seat 15, 20 people, and then you can put a second row behind them and accommodate 30 to 35 people. But anyway, that's getting off the point. But you can read some of this stuff. One Reality Research is achieved by purging errors from knowledge domains, and every knowledge domain. It doesn't matter whether it is approved by Vatican or Nobel laureates or whatever. Every knowledge domain, bar no exception, has errors in it. And once you purge those errors, everything what's left with is one reality that we will have very, very tough time to understand in our generation. But I'm hoping that in 2-3 generations down the road, this will change. And that's why I want to leave the paper trail behind. I'm not trying to convince you or sell you that I'm right and you're wrong. You know, that would be absurd, because your perception is just as good as my perception. Otherwise, you wouldn't be spending so much time in it. And then we have monthly seminars, promotion of One Reality on the internet through blogs, weekly video and audio conferences, and so on, books about One Reality and so on. I mean, it just goes on and on, what I intend to do for the paper trail. Now, this is what I started to say earlier. Again, I'm trying to give you background of me as to why should you even stay here? Why don't you just get up and leave? Obviously, I have admitted I'm crackpot, and you still stay here. I want to give you a reason to stay. So, because if you have a background, say, even if I can't cover 10% of the topic I plan to cover in 40 minutes, I would still want to share this information with you. Basically, what I'm saying is, I have a vocation, intellectual property creation, protection, and gathering. I also have a vocation, which is One Reality Research Academy. And between my vocation and avocation, I have no time for vacation. No problem there. But the money I make from vocation goes into avocation, so I'm broke just the same all the time. I mean, that's why I wouldn't go to conferences in Europe and other places, because I just can't afford it anymore, even though I did my share. What is even worse is that in my vocation, I have been 42 years making a living at intellectual property creation, protection, and gathering. But in One Reality, I have done it for 52 years, a full 10 years more than I have invested in my vocation, not counting the school years, because that would be too much. And so, and this between vocation, which is 42 years, avocation, which is 50 years, and then no time for vacation, and so on, and there are many more things to say, but I want to get to some slide on substantive issues also. This is what the brochure we were using. In fact, I have a very nice scroll pen. You pull it out and it gives you schedule for the whole year. If somebody wants, maybe I can give you one. But I should have at least brought one here to show you, because it gets attention. Because a scroll, a 10-inch scroll in a pen seems kind of hard to imagine, and printed on both sides in full color, with my picture and everything. And anyway, this was one little thing. We tried it for a while, and now I know I shouldn't be using this, because this is one of the things which is a hallmark of every crackpot. And I was doing that, but at that time I didn't see that that's why people know for sure I'm a crackpot. I said, what have I done? because I put this filter out. And it's just, I mean, there's nothing more crazy for somebody to conclude that I'm a crackpot after seeing this. You know, I mean, this is proof positive that I'm a crackpot, because every other crackpot does the same thing. First thing the crackpot does is, I challenge you. You know what I mean? They're so sure, and that's what I was doing. And of course, that was the wrong approach. So I'm learning. Okay, now I have, those of you who have belonged to the NPA probably recognize things like this, because when I speak there, I generally have demonstrations. And this is one of the demonstrations I'm showing. And behind me is Robert the Hillster, who is the dad of David the Hillster. And right next to the blue jeans is his wife. And these two people often did more for the conference, especially registrations and all kinds of other things. At any rate, but you should know that I'm not new to NPA. I have a background, perhaps some would call it baggage, but whatever it is, I can't get rid of it that easily. Okay, now the universe is very big, very complex, but it's also equally small and equally complex in the small size. And the dimensions that I have come up with is that the universe is 10 raised to the power 40 meter radius. So it's spherical. And if you keep going below the nanoatom, below our body, because our body is just made up of nanoatoms, so is this table and everything, there are 30 orders of magnitude below that. So the subatomic also goes from 10 raised to the power 0 to 10 raised to the power minus 40, just as the superatomic goes from 10 raised to the power 0 to 10 raised to the power 40, even though the maximum thing determined maybe only 10 raised to the power 36 or 33, I don't know. But they haven't come to the edge of the universe. And you can't know the size of the universe until you come to the edge of the universe, or plus a little bit of safety margin. So here I am looking at the universe in a box, because that's what the Big Bang started and created everything, if you believe in Big Bang. But even if you don't, somehow the universe did come into existence, because I'm talking to you now in that universe. So I open the box and it says, oh, it's much more complicated than I ever thought. And indeed it is. And I'm not just talking about the enormity of the size of the universe, but also equally the complexity. And that everything in the universe, now this is hard to believe, everything in the universe that we see, every atom, every electron, every 10 to the power 100 particles altogether, are necessary. It's not like God is trying to say, hey, I'm going to impress you. No, he's not that type. Big Bang is not that type, if Big Bang has any conscience at all. Creator is not that type. Nature is not that type. So again, going back to the fundamentals before you can reach it. Okay, let's keep going. Again, I'm still giving you background. That's the problem. Here it is.
10 minutes before Eric Holder kicks you out.
Huh?
You have 10 minutes before Eric Holder kicks you out.
That's okay. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I'll stop whenever the time is up. Even if I don't get into my first slide. See, this is still the background slide. Anyway, you can read this yourself. Basically, it's saying is, my dog comes and tells me, who the hell, or something like that, are you that you think your perception of reality is better than mine? Apparently, dog has a perception of the universe also. And he says his perception is probably as good as my perception of the same universe. And therefore, I reply to him, it's not my pal. By my pal, I mean dog, you know. And I am nobody. Dog, my pal, you can ignore me. I am nobody. It's just for your consideration and an electronic trail for your posterity. So if you care for your litter, you should pay attention to me. And of course, you care for your children and grandchildren far more. Again, this is a cartoon. It doesn't mean very much, but I think if you think about it, it makes a point. Now, corrections to one reality. I've made these things, and the list goes on actually forever and ever and ever. There is no knowledge domain that does not need correction. None. Not even one. Just as, in religion, people say, God is no respecter of people. The same way, one reality is no respecter of knowledge domains. And we are all limited, not that the scriptures are wrong, not that the astronomy is wrong, but our interpretation of it is wrong. And therefore, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. But anyway, I have been talking about Einstein's special relativity and Newton's first law of motion. I mean, people don't want to acknowledge that Newton wasn't the god of England, but he wasn't. I mean, he was very good. He was very careful. He wouldn't exaggerate things like we do in this day and age. I mean, he would say, I have no need to hypothesize. I have no, reason for it, and so on. But anyway, let's keep moving a little bit because I'd like to get into. Now, this is the kind of the thing I was mentioning to you, that Noah and I have one thing in common. We were both born on a Tuesday, as 14% of the people are born on any day of the week.
Who's Noah? Noah, the Bible?
Noah as the Bible, yes. Chapter 7 and 8 is where, again, you have to be very, very, very careful and methodical investigator. Agatha Christie type, CSI type, crime scene investigation type, plus the circumstantial evidence investigation, which is what I learned from law school. Anyway, so we both have, then from that information, for which there is very, very, very sparse information, I was able to calculate that Noah was born on February 17, 10:55 a.m., which translates to 2945 BC. And then I converted that date to what it is today and to his age, and then also my date of birth, which is, See, right now, currently, we're between 6 years and 9 months difference from what we were. For example, if you look at this, Noah's age today, and when I say on October 27, is 4,966 years, 33 weeks, and 3 days.
How did you calculate that?
That's the point I'm trying to make, that it is not easy. If it were so easy, you wouldn't be able to do it. But I'll be able to show you every step that I went through. In fact, I have slides on that. I have citations on each one of them, day by day.
I just was wondering, you didn't just make it up. It's something that you researched.
No. This is the actual day.
Okay. It's the one reality.
Huh? This is one reality. Again, this so far is not my perception. But when you can verify the same thing, not just from sciences, not just from astronomy, not just from any scripture, but all of them all give you the same information, it makes you think. It blows your mind. He says, what business is there that Genesis 7 and 8 should agree with anything in astronomy? Anyway, but this becomes important because this is a prime example of how basically we are so fundamentally wrong, both in scriptures and in astronomy, sciences, astrophysics. In fact, I even have a teaser question I ask people, and I'll give you the question, but the answer will take a little longer, so I will skip the answer. The question is, what's the difference between a duck and an astrophysicist? Okay, a duck and an astrophysicist. Now, I'll give you a hint that before you start saying, anything, you should remember, first you have to find a similarity between a duck and an astrophysicist. And then from that similarity, find a difference in that similarity. And that's what I mean by what's the difference between a duck and an astrophysicist. No time to go through that, and I'm not even time to go through all the detailed
Both waddle when they walk.
This is, by the way, calculation of this presentation day. See, I'm showing you anyways, but I don't know if you have time to go through it. Otherwise, I will show it to you live and with a calculator and everything on it.
The calculation of what?
Huh?
Calculation of what?
Today's date. Today is not November 21, because that's the leap infested calendar. So we're using leap infested calendar, which nature did not create, which creator did not create, which NASA doesn't know. Because even NASA, not completely correctly, but they are still using leap infested calendar with a number like 365.256,363 and so on. Revolutions of the orbit, and so on. But again, that's a minor error, because even after you correct the leap infested, you still are not leap-less. You are just leap-corrected calendar. So I have to go through 4 steps, from leap-infested calendar to leap-corrected calendar, of 2 types, 12-month basis and 13-month basis, and then compare it with leap-less calendar.
How can you have a leap-less calendar if there's no whole number of 365 days that fits in a year? You can check the eclipse.
But
you can count from one equinox to another equinox.
But those equinoxes are wrong too. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. If you go to the fundamental basic corrections, then you wouldn't have those shifting equinoxes. You won't have Farmer's Almanac, which shows you position of the moon for every day of the month. It won't be necessary. It will be the same. The solar calendar and the lunar calendar will be 100% synchronized. Okay, and that's what nature created. But again, it takes a lot of time to come to that. So maybe I will get a chance and give you at least a list of benefits of synchronizing and changing the 365.25 days and some pieces to the calendar as it was created. Now, okay, don't forget, throughout history, for much of the early history, they were using 360 days for a year. And generally, some of them, 12 months, 30 days each, and that's the calendar no one used. And you can't get that unless you treat Genesis 7 and 8 as CSI, crime scene investigation. Anyway.
Maybe the period changed.
What period changed?
I mean, winter is always, the equinoxes.
Yeah, but
they mark the dates
the
in the year.
period changed because we are adding 1.25 day from the beginning, and in the last 2,000 years, that's when we started keeping the correct leap-infested calendar of 365.25 day plus some.
We know we can measure a year by the equinoxes. But
the equinoxes are wrong. You're measuring it from the wrong thing. If you correct the calendar first, the equinoxes will fix. Farmer's Almanac will not be changing. Today is the longest day. This is the shortest day. This is the summer solstice. All those shift back and forth. They're not on the same day of the week, same day of the month, because we don't have proper interval between the 4 seasons. The 2 solstices and the 2 equinoxes. They are all 91 days apart. And once you put them 91 days apart, based on the length of the year, then all those problems disappear. Anyway, today, like I say, I'm not trying to convince you or something.
I'm curious.
But you're curious, but then other people are losing out on
Sorry.
slides,
I'm sorry. Go on, go ahead, move on.
Yeah. I think I missed one, right? I didn't talk about the other one. I don't know what happened. Anyway, this is the important dates and real birthdays of people like U.S. Independence Day. According to leap-infested calendar, it is July 4, 1776. You all knew that. But according to LCC, leap-corrected calendar, it is July 27, 1782. It's only like a little less difference than we are experiencing in the previous slide for today's date, because this is considerably older than today's date. And then LLC, which is the leap-less calendar, today's date is August 12, 1782. I mean the date of his birthday, according to the LLC. But the date is the same. I mean, the date doesn't change. The weather didn't change. Nothing changed.
Why you put November 21 on the bottom?
November 21?
No, at the bottom of your slide.
Yep.
No, at the bottom on the left.
Yeah. The November 21 is what you told me, that hey, your presentation is on November 21.
Sorry, I'm just joking.
I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it may be funny to you, but it's really not funny to me.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway, but you can see all the moonwalk, JFK assassination, third millennium, and I can take any one of your birthdays, use the same algorithm, and before you tell me by looking at the perpetual calendar or from memory or whatever, I will tell you what day of the week you were born. Because the day of the week doesn't change, ever. All Mondays begin on, 2nd, 3rd, the 2nd, 9th, the 16th, and 23rd. Those are the only 4 dates that Mondays can begin, and so on. And again, probably there's another slide for that too, but I'm taking too much time on something like this that shouldn't. This is, by the way, a citation I was telling you about. How did I calculate the Noah's flood's duration? I give you water rising, 40 days, Genesis 7:17. Again, none of these dates are there. Okay, but the days are there. Water receding, 270 days. Now we say, well, how can you be sure that the 40 days are not, included in 270? Because it's an oxymoron for water to rise and recede at the same time. And again, these things you have to provide in Genesis 7 and 8 because they're not there explicitly. Then the same thing with, Noah opens the window 40 days later because the water has receded enough. Huh?
About those things, who cares?
That's right, and that's exactly the point of saying everybody else
talk about something more important.
But it becomes very important because that was one of the half a dozen clues which let me.
Cares? What do you mean important?
It doesn't matter. I will show you that slide. Why is it important?
You think it's important. We think it's not important.
Who said it's not important?
I said it's not important.
You're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah.
But if you stay long enough, I will
Why
convince
don't
you.
you shut up?
Huh?
Why don't you shut up?
Oh, come on.
Why don't
That's
you
not
shut up?
nice.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, give it a chance. I mean, I did not accept these things for 50 years.
Okay, look, they didn't lift up the curtains yet. CY may get a chance to give his presentation. So if we can try to
There's no
summarize.
wrapping. I just stop cold.
No, try to
There
summarize.
is no way to wrap it up, period.
Oh.
There is no slide which says conclusion like everybody does. You have to bring in all the pieces together. Maybe then we can draw some conclusion. I'm giving you some background so you don't,
Okay.
take it too lightly or something. No, I will stop whenever you want me to. In fact, in Vijaya conference also I stopped. But I mean, I never got to it, and that's okay, They had time limitations.
Well,
just
it's
like
between you two.
No, what do you mean between you?
Well,
I
because
have-
he's not getting a chance to give his presentation.
Why not?
You
Give
didn't
it to him.
present yet, right?
Huh?
You didn't present yours, right?
No, I didn't present.
Yeah, he didn't
So-
because
so-
we were running out of time.
So, I can stop and you can take over.
Are you ready to give your presentation?
Yeah, so,
Okay, just give 2 minutes and then let's get to CY.
2 minutes for what?
Well, to
show one more
conclude
slide, 2 more
it, to
slides?
conclude
It's meaningless, but I'll do it anyways. Because it will still be abruptly. I don't even have,
What's the
just
message? What's the message?
Well, it's more than one message. The message is that we are fundamentally wrong. Every knowledge domain has errors. Until you fix almost all of the knowledge domains concurrently, you cannot fix them one at a time. As long as there's a one error, even if it came into existence 600 years ago, and we are building on that, just as Aristotle did, and a lot of other things
That's
did.
one of the things. I'm not going to talk.
You don't want to talk?
No.
You sure?
Yeah. I'm not going to talk.
Why not?
Look at the audience.
Oh, everybody's gone. Okay.
Everybody's gone, yeah. So anyway, but I was looking forward to your talk because I like a good
Yeah, but I'm
controversy.
not going to talk for you.
Okay. So, is it time to stop or shall I keep going for another? Until they open the door?
I think that's the signal there that Eric
No.
Holder's throwing us out.
No, I was just wondering how much longer y'all were gonna be. We have an event that starts that we gotta be set by 6:30.
Okay. All right. So you have, but there's not enough people.
No, I wish he was, but unfortunately he's not. No, we got other special people. It's actually a retirement birthday.
Anyway, I mean, I even do experiments, cheap, affordable, that I can do it. And all these experiments help me provide another avenue of convincing that is emotional.
I'm gonna get this stuff off of this.
What's that?
That's doing on a carry camera, anything like that.
Oh,
Instead of throwing the box,
I don't know
always
what's
giving
our
it to you.
stuff and whose computer is that? Jim, is that yours computer? Laptop?
I think that's it. I think that's
Is that
it
your
then.
laptop? On the table.